Okay, Eric Houdin here, and I've got another lesson to learn. This one's a little unique because, as you might be able to see in the background, I am in Mulamonda at the moment. Came in here for the week to spend some time with the Mulamonda Church. And there's been some interesting aspects of being in here that have brought up another lesson that I learned over the years and I'm still in the process of learning even today. And I thought I'd get this on tape while I'm still in here. Now, when I got to the place where I was actually going to move into or consider moving into Mulamonda, I found myself running into a whole bunch of different situations that generated a bunch of fear in my own heart. Like, well, for instance, I knew coming into Mulamonda, okay, this is a harder language to learn than, say, a lot of the other languages in the other parts of the CPIC. And I was like, okay, well, I wasn't that great of a language learner, or at least that's what I had been told. So that I had fear concerning that. And then I was like, okay, well, I was single at that point in time, and I didn't even have a coworker at the moment. So I was like, okay, I had the fear of, oh, I got to build a house. I didn't have solar panels. I didn't have a fridge. I didn't have that much money in hand at the moment. So like, how am I going to build a house? So I had the fear of that. I had the fear of there was dynamics within the team that I was joining that were a little unsettling. I think thought that I had was you'd have to be nuts to join this team, and then I did. So I had that kind of fear too. So like, how was I going to actually function within this team? How was I going to fit in? Was I going to be able to learn language? So you have all of these different things that generated a great deal of fear in my heart. And so I was like, okay, am I going forward with this or am I not going forward? And so the lesson that I want to, that I learned then and I'm still learning now is simply put is this. Don't let fear be the driving force for your decision-making process. So let me try and say that again. Don't let fear be the driving force for your decision-making process. Because it easily can. I know at different times, there was another tribe that I was going to go into. But there were a lot of things that just didn't sit well with me in that whole decision. And then I was part of the team, and then I was off the team. And ended up leaving that part of the country and coming to the CPIC. And that's all history now, and I don't lament that. But that was, I think, a decision that I made based on fear, as opposed to really, okay, this is what God is wanting me to do. One of the other reasons that this came to mind is just the unique kind of situation that we find, Judith and I in particular, find ourselves in right now. Because we can go, okay, well, it was maybe nuts to be out here. It seems kind of normal for me at the moment to be living in Mulamonda. But the Lord always allows other different circumstances to come my way that are nuts, that are crazy, that would be like, that could cause me to make a decision one way or another based on fear. The challenge for me to go is, okay, if I'm needing to make a decision on something, okay, where is God leading in this? And am I making this decision basically just because I'm too scared to go in this direction, which happens to be, by the way, the direction I think God is leading me. This is the doors He's opening up, but as He's opening it up, I'm getting more and more, I don't want to say terrified, but unsettled would be maybe a very nice way of saying it. I get unsettled. I'm not necessarily a huge risk-taking type individual, which once again may seem strange because of where I happen to be at the moment. But it's just that this, I guess, is normal for me after so many years of actually living in here. But when those new doors open and I don't know what's beyond that door, it can cause me to be fearful. And then to go like, oh, I don't really want to make this decision. I don't want to go in that direction. But that's not God leading me. That's fear paralyzing me. I think as far as like a biblical example, if you look back at somebody like Gideon, and I think sometimes we give Gideon a bad name where it's like, oh, well, he was throwing a fleece out because he really just didn't believe in God. Well, hey, what kind of relationship did he have with God? How much did he understand of God at that point in time? Probably not a whole lot. So Gideon is there, and all of a sudden an angel says, okay, well, you're going to go and do this, and you're going to be guiding and directing. You're going to be, fighting against these enemies that have been, have overpowered and controlled the Israelites for how many years? And he's going like, what in the world are you talking about? How in the world would that happen? And you could see, like, legitimately, okay, well, he would be fearful. And in his fear, he can make a decision to go like, yeah, I don't really want to have anything to do with this. Yeah, it's an angel. Okay, yeah, that's always nice. It gives a little more credibility to God's leading. But even still, he's scared spitless. And so, okay, yeah, he wants some added reassurance in the form of, a dry fleece and a wet fleece and all that, those Sunday school stories that we're well aware of. And this is what he asked for, and God in his grace gave him the reassurance that yes, this is in fact what I'm in the midst of this, and this is what I want you to do. And so don't make your decision based on fear, on not knowing how the story is going to end. Make your decision based on your knowledge of God. So you could even say this is like, don't let fear guide you, let the fear of God guide you. Fear not as in, oh, I'm scared, but fear is in respect for a realization of his power, his sovereignty, his love, his grace, and goodness to you. That's the lesson that I wanted to learn, or I needed to learn back in the day, and that's still the decision that I'm wrestling with right now, even together with my wife, Judith. So there's all sorts of different crazy circumstances that are even in our lives today that, it would cause me to bail out and to like, okay, I don't want to go down, and I don't want to go through the door that has been opened for us. But I think that would be making a decision based on fear. So that's where I had to learn it in order to come in and function here in Molamanda, and I'm still having to learn it just so that I can function and live my life in light of who God is and his goodness and his grace to me. So hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully that's something that can challenge you to not live and make your decisions based on fear, because there's a lot of things in life that can cause us to be fearful. And everybody's different, and everybody's trigger, if you want to use that term, is different. And that's fine. God's going to allow and work in each one of us in a unique way, but he still does not want us to function in our lives based on fear. So thank you very much, and until next time, this is Eric Hedin out here in Molamanda.